Okay, so like how many of you have left with the week 4 lectures? Like who have not watched the week 4 lectures? Okay, yeah, good. Okay, so
Sir, you are going to discuss lab assignment.
lab assignment week 4. I'm gonna give you an overview of the PDF, and after that, in the next session, I'm gonna code. I'm going to code.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so yeah, recording will be available. Okay, so it's like, see, I record it, but usually what happens is it takes a little more time than expected to get it processed. Okay, so it like, if you don't know, when we end the recording, it's being processed in, like, on the cloud, on the server only, on their side. So when the processing is being completed, then we can access the recording in the drive. So that processing takes time sometimes. Okay, so yeah, but at max the time is maximum, tomorrow morning. So like the next morning, uh, since I will take the session, at max it will be available. Okay, so yeah, that is one thing. And I will hope that you guys will watch the session that was being taken today only. Okay, so today there was a session by Shivani ma'am, and she explained the flask basics, and like all the things are being discussed. Okay, so here my work will be to just discuss the lab assignment properly. If you have any doubts, I will just clear the doubts about the statement, nothing else, right? And still, if something is left, then yeah, we can discuss that also. Okay, so let me present my screen. Okay, so this is the lab assignment document for week 4. Right. So these are the basic things. Just give me a second. Okay. Okay, so okay, so see, they are telling that problem statement is use a standard Flask template. You have to create an application that displays an index page as the first page. The index page should have an HTML form with no radio buttons, one with the label student ID and the other with the label course ID. It must also have an input text field. So basically, what was happening in lab assignment week 3 is that you guys were giving the inputs from the command line, right? So let's say I'm just opening the page. Okay, so you guys were doing what in the lab assignment week 3, that you were giving, we were giving the inputs from the command line, right? We were giving the inputs from the command line, and that inputs, based on that inputs, you were reading that inputs, and we were modifying our Jinja template, and we were rendering our template, right? So first thing was that. Okay. So now with Flask, what are you gonna do is you are making a proper web app which will be served using your device basically. Okay, so like using Flask is a framework that we use to make and host web applications. Okay, so whatever the make and host the web applications. Okay, so we are gonna make a simple like web application that you saw in the sessions and the lecture. Okay, so basically it's like I will not code. Okay, I'm gonna code anyways in the next session. From Flask, import Flask. So I'm importing Flask, and then I'm initializing one app is equal to Flask, like this, something like this, right? And then I will write something like at the rate app dot route. And after that I will I will type that if uh, name is equal to mean, right? We write something like this. Okay, and then we say app dot run, like this. Okay, so something like this you do. Okay, why you do, how we do, I will just request you to watch the lectures and sessions first. Okay, because it's just that I'm gonna code in the next session. The next session will be the coding session. Today will be the doubts, and like, if you have anything particular to ask, then you can ask. Okay, so because the next session whole 2 hours will take the coding part only, so I just wanted to ask your doubts in this session. Yeah, so yeah, Prashant.
So, sir, you wrote a condition like if name equal to main, then run that something, right?
Yeah,
So, but in the instruction,
it's not like I'm doing same thing. It's like I was just giving an overview that you do some kind of things, nothing else.
yes, sir. Okay, so in the instruction, so that is given that we should not use that. So, this is what they are meaning.
Yeah. So like whatever they are doing, I will explain that. Okay, but it's like I'm just giving an overview that how do how do you make a Flask application, normal simple solver Flask application, right? So you do some importing. After that, you initialize like this, right? Like I'm just giving an like overview, and I'm just giving you guys that this is there, so name like kind of this, and it's not it should not, it need not be accurate. Okay, so I'm just giving you an like
Basically,
high level.
syntax of Flask, right?
Yeah, kind of like the steps that you follow basically. So you initialize the app, after that you define the roots, right? So roots we will discuss like a little more. Okay, so that is there, and then you run. Okay, so this is configuration part and all the part, like that is like it's not like the thing that is really important, because it's just syntax of Flask, that how do you define the application, and how do you initialize all the things. Okay, so yeah, but the most important thing for us is the routes. Okay, so basically when you do something like this, So when you have initialized your Flask application, then you write something like this. Okay, so app dot route. Okay, so basically this line. Okay, what does this line mean to the server, to the computer which is reading the code? Okay, so it is saying that suppose I'm writing some path here. Okay, so it can be slash, it can be slash dg, it can be slash ta, right? So it did not be like anything that like it can be anything. Okay, so that is there. So whatever path I'm writing here, so it just mean to the machine that whatever path that is written here, what I will do when user visits this path. Okay, so it is something like this. Okay, so when the user will visit this kind of path, where the user will visit something, then what will I do? Okay, what I will do when user will visit this path. And what do I mean by user will visit this path? So we all know that Flask serves the application, right? Some kind of IP address. So it's like 127 point, as you can see here. Okay, so now it is not running, so it will give error. So it's like this, right? So this is the default address on which Flask serves its application on. Okay, so whatever code I'm writing, whatever the code will be there, uh, it will be run, and the things will be served on this address. Okay, and then after that this path will be there, and it will be here. So if I will write slash, only slash, this is the default one. Okay, so slash, like this. And one more thing to notice, whether this slash is there or not. So this is a default path. Okay, so it is called a default path. So whenever you write, yeah, and then okay, so whenever you write like this, okay, or like this. Okay, so this is the same, this thing is the same. Okay, so this is the default path, and if no matter if you put slash or not. So let me show you. Okay, so suppose I'm doing like this. So if I will search this only, no, it will just slash will disappear when I'm searching, as you can see. Okay, let me try again. So I will take 2 3 slashes. It will not give anything. Okay, so this slash that is there, it doesn't matter. Okay, so if I will give it, will not give it, it doesn't matter. Okay, so as you can see, it disappearing, right? So if you will search like this, the things are same, right? And the default path we write as this slash. So this blank, when when application is serving itself, the first thing that user should see is when it goes to the he or she goes to the main URL that is given. Okay, it is with slash or without slash. So this thing. Okay, so I am telling that when this slash path user will go, when I will go to this path. Okay, when I will go to this path, user will go to this path. Okay, so what I will do when the user visits this path? So the task for the machine when user visits the path that is being written is defined under this. So we define some task here. Okay, so we define some task here, right? And I will do that, print hello, right? Print hello world. Whatever task. Okay, I'm not. We can't print. Okay, it's like, yeah. So print is, it will be executed on the terminal only. So it's like, when it's a function, it will return something, right? So it should return something, right? And whatever will be returned by the function will be displayed on the server, right? So the function will return something. Okay, right? So for every path that user will go, for every path that user is going to go, and every path that we are going to design, like slash whatever, slash student, slash course, whatever, right? So for these things, okay, for every particular route, every particular path, we have some things defined already, that this thing will be done if this we visit this path, this thing will be done if we visit this path, and blah blah blah. Okay, so it's like that. So like the except the boilerplate code that we use to initialize, the main thing to understand is this syntax. Okay, that app dot route. Okay, so I'm telling my machine that when user visits some path, then you will do this task. When he visits this path, you will do this task when he visits this path. Okay, so it's like that basically. Okay, so yeah, and after that, the thing comes that is important, that sir, we were giving inputs from the command line, and computer was doing something, right? So now inputs will be from the browser, right? Inputs will be from the browser. How it will be, we will discuss that. And output will be given as an HTML, right? So we were opening a file, right? In the lab assignment, week 3, we were opening a file. Okay, writing, closing it. Okay, so now we will not have to do any kind of these kind of things. Okay, so because like two things are there. Okay, two things are there. That Flask has a default function called render template. Okay, so all the rendering will be done with this. Okay, so what will be the syntax of it, I will discuss that, don't worry. So render template, Flask has. Okay, so now what are we basically going to do in this lab assignment? So lab assignment, we are going to make one simple web application that is clear, right? So application should be interactive, right? Application is a thing that interacts with me. I will give some inputs and will get some outputs, and blah blah blah, right? So what should happen is, when user visits the default path, when user visits the default path, what happens is it should receive. Okay, so the user should receive, as you can see, with the default path. You will have to notice the paths first on the URL, on what path they're giving what things. Okay, so in the default path, as we discussed, okay, I need not discuss the third time that what is default path. Default path is here, as you can see. And in the default path, I'm giving a Google form, no, form. Okay, so basically I'm giving a form, and it has some radio buttons, and it has some text to enter and details. Okay, so first thing what I'm doing is, I was taking input from the command line. So user was giving input from the command line, but application doesn't work like that, right? Like if for application to work, you will have to make it interactive. So it's like, every time the user is going to the code and running the Python code, and by giving the command and inputs, it's not like that. Okay, so to make a web application, it should be like interactive with the user, and it should have like conversation. I'm giving some inputs, taking it is taking some inputs, giving some outputs. So it should be like that, right? So, like I will make a simple form. Okay, so like it's like how am I gonna take the inputs? Okay, so how am I gonna take the inputs if not command line, right? So I am gonna take inputs with forms. Okay, so for whatever for whatever website you go, and for whatever things you do it. So whenever you go to some website, let's say Spotify, so it takes your details. Okay, now it is not, but yeah, maybe I will tap on login, and it will give me some details to fill, right? So it is also like making a form and giving me to fill the details. It's like this. Okay, so it's a simple form only, a simple HTML form only. Okay, so how do I transfer the data from user side, browser side to application side? Answer is forms. Okay, so through forms I'm gonna transfer my data, right? So I'm gonna make a form. How do we make a form? So it's like forms you can search on W3 schools also. Okay, forms W3. Okay, HTML forms, as you can see. So you can see that how do you make, and in the morning also it was discussed that how do you make an HTML form, how do you give a submit button, right? But all the things are mentioned here. Okay, so you can just go through. So this is text, this is radio button section, and in the session also it is being discussed in like the like most basic way possible. Okay, so you can just watch that session to give it. So I'm just giving an high level overview. So you can just watch the session to be clear about all the things. Okay. So one thing is that. So I will make one HTML form, right? And that HTML form will take data. Okay. And that data I will pass to the server. Okay. And server will respond to something. Okay, and server will also give HTML back. Okay, so let me okay, so all the things are working on default. Okay, so URI is to send a post request. Okay, so this application doesn't need any paths to follow, that if this is this part do something, this part do something. All the things are working on the by default URL, so we need not worry about anything. Okay, so okay, so we will just do a post request. So like see, first let me start from the HTML form kind of thing. So it's like, see, first we make HTML form. Okay, and how do we send data? So it's like, see, HTML form has one submit button, right? Submit button, right? So when I do submit, okay, so we have two things: form method and form action. Okay, so these two things are really important to understand. Okay, form method and form action. What does these things do? So form method is related to HTTP. After discussing action, I will discuss that. So form action is on which path you want me to send the data, right? I am serving one HTML file in this default server, as I said, right? As in the default server, as I said here, right? I should move this, I guess. Just a second. Okay, okay. No. Okay. So like form method is on which path you want me to send the data. So we are serving one application, right? So when user will hit this default path, as I said, you will return some HTML page, okay, and that page will be this form, as you can see, okay. And after that, how do you send it back to the server? So it is being done by form action. So you define that, something like this: form action is equal to slash, like this. Okay, so it will send the data to this route only. Okay, so what is happening exactly is, let me divide, let me break down. Okay, so this route is receiving some requests. Okay, what type of requests, we will discuss that. This route is getting some requests, and it is responding with some particular response. Okay, so this is telling, so this route will, receive the data sometimes. Okay, sometimes it will receive the data with the request also. Okay, we will discuss that, don't worry. But just, understand the breaking down of the system, that it is receiving the request and it is returning with some response. So what I'm doing is, what this form action, I'm kind of making one post request there. Okay, so yeah, okay. So form action is like, I want to send the data to this particular path. Okay, so it's like that. So like, suppose let's do first the kind of request we do, right? So HTTP request, as you learned before, and yeah, you must have seen somewhere, is get basic is get or post right now for us. So like, you can search on Google also, you will get some really good page. Okay, so I will just open that. I just wanted to, refer to this MDN web docs. So see, what is this get request? Get method requests a representation of the specified resource, and requests using get should only retrieve data. Okay, and post is submits an entity to a specified resource, often causing a change in status, side effects of the server. Okay, so what are we understanding with this? Let me just copy paste the definitions and come back to the report. Okay, so this is get method, and this is post method. Okay, so see, this is get method, this is post method. Now okay, so this is get and this is post. Now let me just read it out again. Okay, so the get method requests a representation of the specified resource. So get explains itself. Okay, so it's like, whenever you want to request for some particular resource, when you are requesting something, when you are asking for something, you will use get. And when you want to send something, right? So like, there will be two cases, right? So I will ask for I ask the server that, what are my details, account details now, right? So that will be one get request. And after that, if I will request for the, this login log I will log in, and I will tell that, this is my email and password, just check that, and let me log into the application, right? So that is the post request, that I'm giving my credentials, I'm posting my credentials to the application, and it is giving me some responses. So there are two requests that, are like, concerned right now. There are too many requests, HTTP type requests there. I had asked for a response identical to a get, but without the response body. Okay, so put method replaces all the current representation of the target resource with the request payload. So it's like, put we use to update the data, then delete method we use. Okay, so we use it for delete. Okay, so it's like that. So request types are there, and you can visit this site to, like to go into more details. So this get page is there, and there are other things you can explore. So it's like that, right? So now, like what am I doing exactly right now is, so I'm visiting this default URL, right? So what I will do is, what I'm doing is that I'm visiting this URL. So basically, I am sending a GET request, right? So when I visit this URL, focus, understand this properly. So when I'm visiting this URL, what am I expecting to happen? Right? What am I expecting to happen when I'm going to the default URL, first URL? What am I expecting to happen as per the application document? Right? What am I expecting to happen? Anyone wants to answer this? Anyone wants to answer this? No? Okay.
Get
Base file, right? Base,
Would you ask again?
base
Sorry,
URL.
I am telling that visiting the base URL, what am I expecting to happen? Like
get
what?
will is get some resource.
So yeah, so I should like receive some Google like form, right? Form like this, right?
Right, right.
So basically, I'm requesting to the server that I'm visiting this URL. Give me some form, right? So give me some resource, right? So I'm sending GET request. Any doubt in this? I hope there is nothing So I'm visiting this. Okay. So I'm not sending any data. I'm just going to this thing, and I'm going to this URL, and I'm hitting enter. Okay. So I'm not sending any data. I'm just going there and sending a GET request. Okay. So let me yeah. So I will when I will explain the syntax, I will discuss that more, right? So we are sending a GET request, and I'm expecting that I will get some resource, and as a resource, application gives me HTML form to submit. Okay, HTML form to submit my details. So in Jinja, we were doing the command line inputs, and now I will give inputs from here. And after that, form action. So form action will again do so. It has to send the data. Form has to send the data. So form action will send the data to the path I want. Okay, and they are telling in the document that path should be same all the time. So I'm sending request again here. Okay, now I told my application that my form action will be this. My form, the path in the path where I will send the data is this. Okay, but whenever you are not mentioning anything now, so whenever you are not mentioning anything anywhere, okay, so it is by default a GET request always. Default is GET. Okay, so you will have to be specific when you want to send the data, when you want to post the data somewhere on the server. Okay, so it's like that. Okay, so what will happen is I will define form method also. So form method means the HTTP method you want to do. So form method will be post, that I want to post the data to the server. Okay, right? So I hope there is no confusion here. Okay.
When you say host, is it referring to the get?
Sorry.
When you say host, are you referring to the
Host.
get part of that, or is the post part of it?
Oh, host, where did I mention host? I sorry, but I'm not able to
Okay,
understand your question.
sorry, sorry. Okay, all right, good, good.
Okay, so this is the post request. Yeah, Prashant.
So action is base URL, right? So whenever we go to base URL and post, then this form will get activated.
Whenever you will go to base URL, it will anyways will give you the HTML form, and after you submit, you are when you are submitting, you are doing a post request because you want to send something on the server. Okay, so
So
basically when
action
you
is base.
sorry,
So the action is base URL, right? So
yeah, so this is
that
the
time
base URL. Yeah, so when you visit this URL, na, yeah, so this is only the base. Okay, so it's like, they're telling, do not, go to other paths. Okay, you will have to just follow this path only. Okay, because as you can see, okay, you can't see any slashes, right, slashes and some mentioned there. Okay, and as you can see this line also. Okay, where it was like something was, yeah. So post request to the application's URI and must find the highest average marks and blah blah blah. So like it is sending a request to same URI slash. Okay, when it was working. Okay, so whenever you will send a get request, it means that I'm now seeking, and user wants to send the data, right? Like when user wants to update the data, user wants some data, user wants something. So whenever first time, for the first time when I will visit this URL, okay, and this is how I visit the URL like this, right? So this is a by default get request. Okay, so when it is a get request, it should give a HTML form. Okay, form. And after that we when we reach this step, it is giving me this form, right? How it will give the form, let me tell you how it will give the form. So we have this okay, so HTML pages Flask have some particular things, so let me discuss one by one. So we have templates folder. Okay, so what is templates folder? Templates folder is in this folder all the HTML files necessary will be saved. Okay, so now what we were doing in the Jinja part, we were manually making one HTML file. After that we were opening that, writing that. Okay, but now we will make our HTML files and save it in the templates folder only. Okay, so suppose if my application is app.py, I will make one templates folder like this, and I will create one file in this saying whatever create.html like this. Okay, and it will be like this only. So see, this is my HTML. Okay, so okay, let me just delete this one. So it's like this. So Flask by default takes all its HTML, reads all its HTML file from the templates folder. So if you want to send something from the server, if you want to receive something from the server, whatever is there, HTML part will be in the templates thing. So when I'm using this base URL and request is get, I will return the form for the HTML form. So it's like suppose it's ta.html, right? So now we have a default function. So like how like it's not like I will just go like it will just throw it out. I will just return ta.html. It's not like that. It's not like this, right? Of course, it is not like this. So we have render template function. Render template function. So whatever, okay, so when I'm serving the application on this URL, so suppose I want to run some HTML. Okay, you want to render some HTML template, you want to give some HTML template. So what template you will give and how you will give using render template. Okay, right? So first task, what we are doing is we are defining the route that on this path I'm gonna give one HTML. Okay, when it's a get request, I'm gonna give one HTML. Okay, so that HTML is supposed ta.html like this. Okay, and rendering means it's like showing to the user. It's like in the Jinja way also. Okay, so in Jinja also it's like a render template. It will update the variable this the same way. I will give name is equal to name and like this, and this template will be rendered, and I'm returning this thing. Okay, and I'm returning this part. So it will just render the template. Okay, whatever it is there in the HTML, it will just return it. Okay, and that server will return it, and this browser will get that. Okay, and it will show you the HTML page. Okay, So this render template is important because what template will you give, it is important. So this is form.html. So the first step for you is, like, when the default path is there, and I'm anyways gonna discuss all the things in the next session, but no worries. Okay, I just wanted to give an overview about lab assignment, but yeah, since it is important, I thought I will discuss this. I will not discuss this in the next session. Okay, I'll just start coding it because I'm anyways discussing it right now. So rendering means that I'm returning it, and I'm rendering it, and I'm returning it. So it will return the HTML page, and browser will show that. Okay, so it's like that. So what happened? I went to this URL. Okay, what am I expecting to happen? I want to see some form like this. So by when the default URL is there, server should return one form, and where I will make the form in templates.html. Okay, how will I return that form using this statement, right? Okay, and what will I do in the form? Like, you will have to make this kind of thing. So these are radio buttons, as you can see, and after that some text box, and the submit button is there. How will I send the data? That answer is form method and form action, right? So we discussed that also. So how will I submit my data? It's like using form method. Okay, using what I will submit my data? Post request. Okay. Okay, so I just want to post the data to the server, and then see what will happen.
Post the data on the diff base URL.
Yeah, post data on the base URL. Okay, so it said here, right? It already said here that it should send the data to the base URL. I will go again and show you base URL. Okay, so it's not URL is like the whole thing. When it is the whole thing, you call it URL. URI is unique, this is the identifier. Okay, so this is identifier. So it's like unique resource identifier. So it's like identifier of the link, basically. Okay, so all the things will be same. What will be different every time, like this? So all the things will be same. The identifier will be different every time. So this will be D, G, and T, and whatever. So it's like that. Okay, so yeah, so the first thing is server on the by default get request when I'm visiting, like that. Okay, like this. It should give one HTML form like this. Okay, and templates are also given. Okay, so you'll just have to copy paste the templates. Okay, and where will be the templates? It will be in the templates folder. And the most important thing, guys, Flask will not understand if you will put the HTML form or HTML pages anywhere. Okay, it will just understand the templates folder. Okay, it is default thing. You can't change it to template or whatever. Okay, it must be templates. Okay, yeah, Satya.
Sir, suppose if there is a link in the page, and we are clicking on the link,
Huh.
uh, is that hitting any point in the server? If
That
it is
that
hitting in the
huh.
hitting at a point, how can I give that hitting name get request?
Okay, so if you are saying like this, right? So if you are visiting some link, you tell me, if you are visiting some link, is there any data attached?
Yeah.
I can't send the data with the this link, right? I can just visit this link. So this
Yeah.
will be a get request, right?
Okay. By default, it will be a get request.
By default, yeah, and it can't be anything, right? Because like let me refine, like post, you send the data with post.
Hmm.
Okay, so it's not like that, right? So it is just redirecting you to the some page or something. Okay, so you can give here URL of whatever you want to do, and you can just give the URL, and it should do the things.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so
Clear.
it's like that. Okay, yeah. So yeah,
Will it
where was
give
I?
URL or URI?
Yeah, that will be the full URL.
So that way it will be.
Okay, so it should go to that URL. Okay, it's not like that. Okay, I want you to experiment that. Okay, put an A tag, give the whole URL, try doing something with that. Okay, so
So there is
I visited. Yeah,
there should be a link in the bottom of every page. I mean, go back. There is a link. They say we have to. Yeah,
yeah, this
there.
link, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can put that. Okay, in that. Okay, so yeah, I want you to try that. Okay, since too many days are left, I just want you
Okay,
to do experiments with it. Okay,
okay,
so
okay.
as I said,
And
uh,
whenever I click on this link, it should go where? The main page,
yeah. So
indexes.
see. This is the form,
Yeah.
right? And after submitting the things, I'm getting something. So if I want to go back to the form, it is
Hmm.
just that I want to go back to the form.
Hmm.
Okay, so it's just that. Okay,
Okay.
so don't worry, you will understand this if you will just try to put some URL there. Okay, and see what happens. Okay, and you will give the full URL that you want to visit. Okay, I will not clarify more than this. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so okay, so let me continue with this, right? So it's a get request. Okay, and I'm getting a form, and now I am telling now the server is waiting for my response that I will submit that form, I will give the details, and based on that user will do something. So I send the data. Okay, so what is data? Data is same as we were doing in the Jinja. Okay, so if it's a student, then select student. Okay, so it's like this. Okay, so we were doing minus s, then id. Now what we will do is we will read the data from the form, read the data that we got, and do the same thing. Do the same thing. Okay. So what we are gonna do is, suppose I submitted student ID and it is 101. So that went to the server. Okay. So now server knows that student ID is 101, and I want student details because I'm entering student ID. Okay. So now, as you can see, it is giving me student details. The same details that I was getting in the week 3. The only difference is the application is giving me. It is more reactive. I'm giving some inputs. I'm getting some outputs. I don't need to do it with do it with the command line or something. Okay, so I'm doing all the things in the browser only. Okay, so I visited this URL, I got the form, I sent the data, post request was there. So server will identify. Okay, so that if it is a get request, give it the form. If it is a post request, then do some processing and give it back. Okay, so where were we exactly? So let me just read the statements. So using a standard Flask, blah blah blah. So see, this form should be there when the get request is happened. This form will be rendered every time. Okay, and when I submit, it should send a post request to the same URI, and it should extract the information. How to extract? There's a detailed video. I'm not gonna explain that again. You will open the data.csv, you will calculate the things, and you will make one HTML. Okay, and you will make HTML the same way, but the difference will be that you are going to be making that HTML file in the templates folder. Okay, nothing different. Okay, the same thing is there, nothing different. It's just you will have to make this forms in the templates folder in order to make it identifiable to the Flask application, right? So it should when the post request is there, it should whatever, if it is student ID, so you can just give the student details. If it is a course, then you should give the course details. So every time based on the inputs, you will render some HTML page. Okay, so it's like that. The HTML form should be same as mentioned below, and then the table should also display the total marks of that students in the last row. It must also display a link to navigate back to the HTML form as shown in figure 3. Okay, so it is basically telling me to render some HTML. Okay, so yeah, as you can see. Okay, so when it is post request, I'm gonna open that. Okay, and when it is get request, I'm gonna open something else, and etc. It will be like that. Okay, so this way we are gonna make our application. Okay, so let me find, if I will be able to find it. Let me just open that for you. So I'll just open that and show you the demo kind of thing.
One question is that, so it's not suited. Okay, is this question done? So current question is done.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay,
it is simply
let me run
because
it. Let me switch my
the first one is
Screen.
itself directly predicts it. So whichever the second one is 0, that is what
Just
we
a
are
second,
most
huh?
important with.
So I will not show you the code, obviously. Okay,
So if the second one
that
is
is
0,
for
it's
the
fine.
next
So
day.
it does not
So
contribute
see,
anything. That is what,
this is running a web
this
application on this server, right?
Okay.
As you can see here, so it is serving. Okay, it is not right now. Okay, and as you can see the folder structure. Okay, my app.py is here, my templates folders are here. So whatever I want to render, it will be under this. So one index.html will be there. So index.html is for when I want to send some Google form the first, right? So this will be index. After that, if it is student details it is asking, then I will render something else. If it is course data it is asking, then I will render something else. And if it is a wrong thing, then I will render something else. Right? So 4 HTML pages, one single app.py.
Yeah, that way also you
Right.
can interpret. But my
So
interpretation
based
is,
on my response, okay,
the
and how to
second
read
does
that
not
response, it is
contribute. So
being
why
done
is
in
this
the
zero? So
sessions. Okay,
I'm explaining why this is zero.
so I
That is
hope
because
that
the
at
second
least
feature does not
that thing is
contribute to
clear.
this thing. So 1 is here, 2
Okay.
is here, and 3 is
So
here.
we can put 4 HTML files in template folder.
Yeah. So suppose, oh sorry,
So
just a second.
that is what
Data.csv is not there in my thing. Sorry, I will have to, just a second. I will have to move it. Where it was. Just a second, Dipankar. Let me just figure out this. Data.csv.
Yeah. 0, 1.
Second. You can run it again now, I guess.
2, 1, 3, 1,
Yeah.
2.
So, yeah, Dipankar, yes.
Yeah, Darshan.
Yeah.
So I have a query regarding left first and
Yeah, this one is the link.
So I'm using 2 radio buttons, right? One for course ID, one for student
Yeah.
ID,
Yeah.
and one text file.
This
Okay.
is 6 and this
So
is
suppose whenever I'm giving a student ID 1001 and
Okay.
I click on submit, I get the details.
Okay.
The issue which I'm
what is
facing
this
is
X and what is 6?
even if I click on the radio button of course ID and the same student ID 1001, then also I get the student ID details.
Yeah.
So if you're tapping on this,
Yeah, if I'm tapping on course ID,
okay,
I'm just
so
tapping.
there is something called value in the radio buttons. Okay, so let me. So maybe that is the case. So see, when is the radio button is there? Every time there is one value and name name related to that. So it's like, see, it's like this. So HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So the value that you get is this. When you select this JavaScript, suppose, so this HTML sends that this radio button's value is JavaScript, and the name is favorite language. Okay, so maybe these values, are the thing that you are missing. That's why it is sending the same maybe thing. Okay, so maybe something related to form it is there. Okay, so maybe you should just go through the syntax of this once. Okay, and try it again. Okay, anyways, like we are gonna do in the next session. Yeah.
Okay,
So
the radio button syntax are working, but when I have the radio button combining with the text input, right? I
okay.
think there's some issue because for whichever radio button I provided text input, it is taking the text input for as in either of those.
Input type, let me write text like this. Okay, so yeah, this is the text also here. Okay, and now I will just remove this label, and I will remove this radio button only, right? And I will run it again. Okay, so what is happening? You are selecting student ID, right?
Selecting student ID.
And you did some 1007 or something,
Yes.
and you submitted. So what is
Yeah.
happening?
So I'm getting the student ID details. Okay.
Okay,
Proper details.
okay,
And when I have selected radio button course ID
okay,
and same 1007,
okay.
still I'm getting student ID details.
Student ID details. How? So this value will be maybe will be
The
the
point
same.
is, whatever code we are generating, right? It is valid for, as in, apart from the wrong entry, wrong inputs, so it is valid for whatever student ID or course ID we have in the data, right?
Okay, the syntax is good. Syntax, there is no problem in syntax, and the way you are fetching the data, it is also correct. Like you are doing something right. Request dot form dot get
Yes,
something you are
yes.
doing. So
Yes.
you are
So
extending.
when I'm putting request dot form dot get, right, so I can only, as in for student ID and course ID, when I'm giving an input text type text, right, I'll have only one value, right, and I need to check that value whether it is in student ID data or course ID data, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. But the thing is, what's happening is the student ID, be it student ID or course ID, if it is in a data, whatever radio button I click, it is giving me that result.
Whatever radio button you click, sorry, it is giving you.
For example, we have valid course ID 2001, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm writing this 2001. Yeah. What is
2001.
happening?
Yeah. So even if I click on student ID, the radio button student ID, yeah, even then it's giving me the result.
Ah, okay. Why it will give you the result, like
But
it should give.
2001 is not a valid student ID, right? It's a valid course ID.
Okay, so maybe, yeah, my mistake is there, as they have given the document and all the things in the thing. So maybe HTML doesn't have any problem. Maybe in the back end there is something that you are missing. Okay, so when you are getting the data, when it is hitting the post, so form action, as you said. Okay, so form action will be for us. It would be this,
It will be this,
and
yes.
form method will be post here, right? So when you are getting the data and when you are checking the data, I guess in the root there is some small issue that you will have to modify. So anyways, I'm gonna discuss on Tuesday. Just try
Yeah, sure.
doing something in the root. Okay.
Okay.
So it's like whatever error you guys are facing right now, if you are just try debugging it. Okay. So anyways, we'll do that in the next. Okay. So yeah. So suppose I'm giving the course ID. So suppose some course ID. So it is giving me the course details, right?
Yes.
I'm going back, right? So student ID, I'm giving 1001. It should give me this
Yes.
details. I'm giving back.
So if you click on course ID
Yeah.
and give the same student ID 1001.
Okay. Yeah, it should check. It should check for. It should give wrong inputs. So
Correct.
it is in the
Even then
routes.
I'm getting student details.
Yeah.
That's
So it is in the routes. Then you are not checking the conditions properly, I guess.
okay.
Okay, so there is some if condition you will have to modify
Yes,
maybe.
yes, yes, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going back. Okay, and what you will put in the a tag that is there to go back. It is your thing. Okay, so
Yes,
you can just try. Okay, you
yes,
can
sure.
just try doing that, and yeah. So basically, what is happening is I am entering this URL. So it is a GET request. Oh, server is not running, I guess. Sorry, just a second. I closed the VS Code. Okay. Okay, so let me run this again. Okay, refresh. Yeah, so it is get request. So I got this form. So in the get request, it is giving me this form, and now I'm posting. Now I'm posting. Okay, so now I submitted. Okay, so invalid return for end with paste and yeah. So that error is for this submit button. So I will have to submit something. Okay, so that's why it is giving me error, right? So now I am sending some data. So when I'm sending some data, it is getting that, get the data, and based on the data that I'm giving you. So as you can see in the inspect also, you can see. So it is HTML form, and I will open the body. Okay, and I will open this form only. Okay, so this has value student ID, this has value course ID, as you can see, right? And when I'm submitting, it will send this value here. Okay, so name will be same ID. Based on the option I select, it will be that student ID or course ID. So you will check that, the value of the radio button. The value of the radio button is what? Student ID or course ID. And the text you will give some name also. How do you extract if you don't know the name, right? So that is also there. Okay, so two things are there, and you are submitting. So you are sending the
We have to
post request
correct
to the
that
server.
that we have to correct that form input form.
We have to what? Sorry.
We have to correct that input form. The input form given there in the instruction,
Okay.
we have to put the value. Value is not.
Value is given. No. So name na input type. See. Value is for when you have multiple option and you want to check, right? So
Yeah.
value is for when you have multiple options, you want to check that for the same name, for the same name ID, what value is there? In the text
Yeah. The
box, there is no multiple
checking.
values, right?
Yeah. Checking that radio button, what value it will generate, we have to put that value in the
So
value.
value is there in the
Yeah. Yeah.
template.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So it is there in the student ID and course ID. It is the same is written. Okay, so that's the code that I'm running. It is the same that is there. So basically, instead of giving the command and inputs, I'm giving the inputs from here. It is a simple application. I'm submitting. Post request is going there, and after I submit, it is processing this thing. It is like rendering one thing, and from where it is rendering the templates folder. Remember, okay, and this go back thing is there. Okay, so yeah, you can try giving URI, you can try giving URL. Okay, I just want to confuse you on this because I want you to try. Okay, okay, take. Okay, so this basic application you will have to make. Okay, so if I am submitting the wrong inputs, it should give. So your if conditions should be strict. Okay, that I'm not allowing you to put the wrong IDs. I'm not allowing you to do if student ID is there and something you are valid, you are putting invalid. Okay, it should throw an error. Okay, so it's like that, right? So this was the simple thing. Let me just go through the uh, assignment document once. So yeah, so as you can see, it is telling that you have to post request and course ID and marks, and table should also display the total marks the same way. You will have to send post request and go back also. And now post request to an application's URI to find the highest average marks for the course display in the table.
Yeah.
So same thing you are doing. Okay. So yeah,
So
we are done with your application then. Okay, if there are wrong inputs, you will render this. With render template, you will have to do everything. So you are doing render in Jinja, you are doing render template in this. Okay. Yeah, Satya.
Sir, two query I have.
Yeah.
That is, one thing is, where should I put the data thing, the CSV file
In the
in this?
same folder with the application. Okay, outside.
Okay,
So see,
app.py. Same,
yeah, the
same
same
place.
structure. Yeah, same structure we will follow. It's just that it will have some extra folders now. This template folder and static folder. Okay, static folder I will mention about, but template folder. So it should be like one folder. In one folder there should be our app.py, our templates folder, our data.csv. Okay, so in the same folder it should be where the app.py is. It will figure out, right?
Okay, second thing is, there is a code snippet given by ma'am this
Okay,
morning.
okay.
So, could you please decode that
Decode.
5, 7, 8 lines for us?
What is the decoding? Okay, so let me just first clear. Okay, so let me just ask something. That this is clear, right? Lab assignment thing is clear. Anyone has any doubt in that? Okay, anyone has any particular doubts in the what is this?
Mother is walking.
Madhustan, just turn off your camera, please. Okay, so yeah. So anyone has any doubts in the lab assignment thing? Like how do you do it and why like and all the things? Nothing, right? And one thing important I wanted to discuss. Yeah, just a second. One thing I want to discuss is the graph that you show.
So you're saying
Okay.
two
So
underscore
the
x and
graph
two
that you
underscore
show
y
will be in the
be separate.
static folder.
That's
There will
it.
be
So
one
you need
folder
two variables.
and the photos. Okay, all the photos, non-structured data like photos and videos and files and all the things will be there in the static folder. Okay, so you will have to find a way to generate the graph and transfer it into the static
It will be
folder.
stored in a single value.
Okay.
So
I will
how it works.
stop here. Okay. How do you do it? I want you to figure out. Okay. Just do chat GPT, do whatever you want, do research. Okay. And if I guess in the sessions and maybe somewhere it will be discussed also. Okay. So yeah, do some find something.
So if you give two
Okay, so how to move into the static folder and how to do the things, right? So I want you to explore. Okay, if it is being discussed, no problem. Not discussed, no problem. Okay. Yeah.
So
So we can use the same codes which we use in lab assignment 3 plus some additional codes.
Yeah, no, like same code. It's like it's not the exact same thing. Okay, because you are modifying too many things. Okay, but the inspiration is like that. You were getting command line inputs, and this you are getting HTML form. So when you will, so basically, what is the difference when in the Jinja when you are taking the sys command, right? So like in this we are not using sys, we are using form request.form.get, right? After that in Jinja we were using file manipulation. We were opening a file, writing an HTML, closing the file, and now in this what we are doing is in this part Flask part we are using render template function. Okay, so too many things are there, but the concept is still same. Okay, based on the input you will have to give the some particular output. Okay, right. Okay, so let me open the okay, so is there some document or something? So can you send the link directly in the chat box?
This one is there. So five.
Is it possible, or I will have to open the portal and
It's,
Directly give the
it's in
name
the
also.
portal. Should I give the snippet directly in the message?
no. Let me open only supplementary contents, solve it instructor source code, download my drive, week 4 OS.
That is what it is, a list basically.
That folder, right?
And
Week
then
4
below
OS.
That list is
Exactly what code do you want me to decode? App.py? right?
App.py. No, no, sir.
Then what code do you want?
MAT txt.
Matplotlib.txt.
No. There is a file that two few lines of code. I mean 7 lines. It's for the
Let
dealing
me.
of the image thing.
Hold. This one. This one.
Yeah.
Okay, so this thing, right? Okay, so let me see what is.
So especially the second line, I don't understand. Otherwise, it is okay. Importing files and all that, and this is generating the image and all that. X
Mhm.
is to hold the value
Okay.
on which the graph will be created. Especially the
Okay.
second line, what it is.
Okay, so see, this is one approach. Okay, so when I'll be coding, I'll be explaining this. But meantime, I want you to do one thing. Okay, I want you to try uh, other approach also. Okay, so there is a simple way. Okay, so on what I did the thing. Okay, and I didn't need this complicated lines. So just try with the first principle. Okay, and if you are not able to understand, then we are anyways going to do it on the Tuesday, right?
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
yeah, I'll request that try, just try. Okay, so you will have to do one thing. You will have to generate it. You will have to save it somewhere. Okay, so if your approach is good, maybe you will be able to do the things without this also.
Okay. So it is not
It is not
mandatory to
a
use
kind
this
of
program.
compulsory also, and try to figure out what does it mean meanwhile. Okay, so
Okay.
like just try to figure out yourself, and otherwise I will just explain that in the next session. Okay, I'm anyways gonna explain in the next session, so that's why I'm just so
Yeah.
like, because I will have to explain in the next session anyways, so I will just do it in the next one. Okay, so let me